Chapter 8 outline Gov 2305 U.S. Government. Learning objectives describe the pattern of participation among demographic groups, describe the majority types of U.S. elections and why they are important to democracy, explain strategies campaigns used to win elections, identify the major factors that influence voters' decisions, how participates and how who participates and how. In democratic systems, citizens are used elections to hold elected representatives accountable for their actions. Basically, the common people can choose some or other guy or woman to basically make all the big actions in their behavior. In America federal system, the responsibility for organizing elections rests largely on state and local governments. Participation can take the form of riots, protests, or insurrection, insurrection, insurrections. January 6, 2021 was a riot, but also an insurrections defined as a violent attack on government. During early periods of American history, the right to vote, called suffrage, was usually reserved for white males over the age of 21. Many states gave voting rights only to those who owned property and paid more than a specific amount of annual tax. Voter turnout as a percentage of adults U.S. population during this period was relatively low. So basically, back then, only white males could vote, and they had to be older than 21. In a lot of states, you couldn't vote if you didn't own a house or something, or you made certain amount of money, you couldn't vote. So a lot of people didn't really vote. Over the course of American history, more groups of people have gained in suffrage, and improvements in technology have led to new forms of participation. Digital political participation includes a wide range of activities, for example, using social media, email, and text messaging to discuss issues and candidates and mobilize supporters, and reading and commenting on online review stories. So basically, because now we have phones and social media, it's easier to show candidates, and so people can know about it. Americans who attend college, who earn more income who hold professional occupation have what social scientists call a higher socioeconomic status and participate in political far more than those who less educated income. So basically, the more educated you are, the more likely you are to get into politics because you have a deeper understanding of what's happening around the world and how that affects you. In contrast of people who have less education and less income, because since I guess you don't really care about it because you think it doesn't affect you because you're not well educated. Education is the single most important factor in predicting whether someone will not only vote but also participate in politics in other ways, such as encouraging others to vote, supporting specific issues, and donating to candidate or cause. The ongoing significance of gender issues in U.S. politicians has become is best exemplified by the gender gap, a distinctive pattern of a male and female organization in electoral politics. Women tend to vote in a higher number of Democratic candidates, where men tend to vote to a higher number of Republicans. States State electoral laws regulate voting, mass voting. Election seasons begin with the primary election, which determines the candidate in each party who will face off the general election. Primary elections can come in two forms. In closed primaries, voters are limited to elect only members of their own party. Open primaries, however, allow voters to cast ballots for candidates in any party. People must register to vote, and some states allow the same date registration. Some states also offer early voting before election date. Congressional elections that do not coincide with the presidential elections are called midterm elections and generally have a lower voter turnout. In general elections, states seek to move their presidential primaries to the earliest in the calendar year so that their citizens have more say in which candidates are chosen. To then make dynamic known as front loading. People who in individual electoral districts, which are redrawn every 10 years in a process called redistricting, redistricting can sometimes lead to partitions manipulation called gerrymandering. Presidential candidates secure a party nomination by running in the primaries, in the state primaries and caucuses. Nominees try to win delegates who will go on the nomination convention and officially nominate the president. Conventions are also where parties draft their party platform. The Democratic Party designs a number of party leaders, and elected officials have super delegates. Americans do not vote directly for presidential candidates. Rather, they choose electors who are pledged to support a party presidential candidate. These elements cast their ballots in what law has electoral college, supporting that for eliminating the electoral college in favor of a nation popular vote is increasing among states, especially since the winner of the popular vote may not win the president due to the loss in the electoral college. American participation, which Democrat via ballot indicates the referendum. 18 states also have legal provisions for recall elections, which allow voters to remove government and other states officials from office before the term expires. Election campaigns. There are many steps in a campaign, including incumbents often have more successful campaigns than challengers. U.S. campaigns, especially those for president, are extremely expensive. Campaigns spend a huge amount of time raising funds, which comes from at least 7 possible individuals, donors, political actions, committees, super PACs, dark money groups, or 51 committees, public funding, and the candidates' own funding. Campaigns are often long. They include hiring staff, raising money, and creating voters, among many other duties. Grassroots companies operate at the local level, often using face-to-face communication to generate interest and momentum among citizens. Contemporary media-driven capital interest campaigns rely on the media debates and micro-targeting to reach the specific voters they want to target. The media and televised debates allow candidates to communicate the policy goals and promise to a broad range of voters. And this is also Bloom instrument. The idea behind micro targeting is to send different campaigns, ads, or messages to different demographics and ideological groups of voters and potential voters. Research on political mobilization has shown that face-to-face interaction with the canvasser greater increases the chance of someone to go to the polls. How to vote? How voters decide. 3 main factors influence voters: decision of polls, partisan loyalty, issues, and policy preference. Candidacy characteristics. Politician loyalty predispose people who vote in favor of a party candidates against those of the opposition party. The impact of issues and political policy preferences on electoral choice is dismissed if the competing candidates do not differ substantially or do not focus in their campaign on policy matters. The kinetic attributes and personality characters also influence voter decision. The silence of these three bases of electoral choice varies from constant to constant and from border to border.